Hey, my name is Dr. Giuseppe Palladini and I welcome you to this channel where we share every week a new episode of Property Lunch with Giuseppe. Welcome everybody, this is Giuseppe Palladini. I have with me today Samuel Leeds. How are you doing, Samuel?
Hey, I'm so good and it's great to see you as well. So thanks for having me on your show.
Let me introduce you properly. So you are a property entrepreneur, investor, religious man, family man. How many kids do you have right now?
I just had my third.
Congratulations. You have a lovely wife, Amanda. I had the fortune to meet as well. Am I allowed to say you're a showman as well?
I mean, I guess I do put on a good show. So
the reason why I'm saying that is because I tried to count the numbers of videos you have on YouTube, and it's impossible for me to get to a number. I don't know if you know on the top of your head how many videos you published so far, but you have about 188,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is brilliant. So the amount of content, the amount of value that you give to the community is amazing. You've done as well a few shows, let's say the financial freedom challenges. You've done more than one. You've done the eviction. Again, I think you've done two. Am I right? Yeah. So that's why I say the showman, because you have quite a lot of shows within the property world. So Samuel, what age were you when you started in property?
When I started in property, I bought my first house in 2009 and I was 17 years old. And I think at the time, I mean, the showman stuff you talk about, that came a lot later.
Yeah.
But in the early days, I was just a kid trying to make some money, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, my first property was as a result of, at the time, it was just as the recession was happening, and it was when you were buying properties and you could refinance it straight away. So if you found a property for £100,000, but you negotiated to buy it for 75, yeah, you'd buy it for 75, but then you could refinance it immediately after. Now those days have changed, but that was the strategies that everybody was doing. And I was fortunate enough to have been invited to some property events. My stepdad was in property. You know, just before I got into property, he'd refinanced his house and he was buying property. So he was doing some educational training. And yeah, I found a property. I was too young to buy it. I didn't have any money. I was too young. I creatively structured it and I put it in my stepdad's name, and he hosted it for me until I was at an older age where I could have it transferred to me back. And I think I was never good at anything at school. I failed in school. I wasn't very popular. My brother always used to beat me in sports. But I was thinking, actually, I think I'm good at making money. I think I'm good at making money. And when I got that first property, the satisfaction and the confidence that it gave me, I became addicted to it. And that was why I started accumulating my property portfolio, which then transpired into me accumulating a lot of wealth.
That's brilliant. The reason why somebody starts in property, generally they have a very strong motivation, or it happens by chance. Yeah. Why property and not some other business for you?
So I was working for my dad when I left school. And I mean, I was always an entrepreneur, even as a kid. I had lots of paper rounds. Then I set up a plastering company. So as a kid at school, I was making money. Now, when I left school, I went to work for my dad's company. But working for my dad was actually a liability, because he'd say to me, you need to work this time, tomorrow. And it was like I couldn't do anything else. So I felt really trapped. And I wanted to be free. So I actually Googled, my dad is keeping me poor. Okay. Now, when I Googled that, the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad came up, and Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the book, who I've now been privileged to, meet on more than one occasion, he talks about passive income rather than active income. And Robert Kiyosaki spoke a lot about real estate, and that was why I chose real estate. And I'm glad that I did, because right now, people that are getting into entrepreneurship, maybe they're going into cryptocurrencies and this and that and all these different things. And listen, I'm not against those. There's some great things. I've got very good friends, and I've even dabbled myself. Nothing wrong with that. But I think property has stood the test of time. It's bricks and mortar. It's a business, and also it's a home. It's land. You can't build it anymore. It's a very safe investment. So I think I chose a good a good strategy, and I've ran with it ever since and built up a very large property portfolio.
Yeah, we can see that. And as well, you're an author of several books in property, and I have one just here with me. This one was your very first book, Buy Low, Rent High. And I don't know if you remember this, but I have a signed copy as well. I always have signed copies.
Oh, that's true. I said you're a rock star, and here you are. So
you say that, yeah. We met in a crash course in May 2018. That was my first time I came to Manchester. Was in a very small environment at the time. Now, then it became huge, and then with COVID, of course, everything changed again. So how you find it right now doing events online rather than face to face? Because you love the energy of the people in front of you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, okay, so I set my training company up. I was about 25 at the time when I started my education company. And you're right, my training company, 2018 was when we met. And that was just on the brink of when it was growing really, really big. 2019, we were having 1,000 people plus at our conferences, which we were running very, very regularly. And people, used to think, what, if you're making so much money in property, why teach? But the thing is, what people didn't understand is the enjoyment and the satisfaction from being in a room of hundreds and hundreds of hungry, motivated entrepreneurs, just like I was a few years prior, being able to be part of their journey. I mean, it was just so rewarding. And when the lockdown happened, it was quite upsetting for me because it meant that I couldn't run my events anymore. And everyone was saying to me, that, to be honest, people have been saying to me for years, can you put your events online? And I was used to say, no, if you want to see me, you come to see me, right? No, people would say, oh, I live in Australia. I'd be like, well, you come see me. On average, every time I ran an event, we'd have 17 countries represented. People were flying from all over the world. And I was like, you come see me. When lockdown happened, I couldn't tell people to come see me anymore because we weren't allowed. And, for a while, I just thought, well, let's see what happens. But when it became clear that lockdown was going to be happening for quite some time, I caved in under the pressure and I put all of my courses online. And I didn't feel happy to do it. I was a little bit reluctant to do it. And I also thought people might just watch it online, and because they've not had to make the sacrifice to actually be in the room, maybe they wouldn't take action. And I had all these reasons why I didn't want to do it. And it was actually my wife who said to me, she's like, look, you're being selfish because actually you're robbing people the opportunity to be able to get the education just because you want the enjoyment of being in the room. And she said you really need to just put it online. So I did, and it was one of the best things I ever did because it's right now, even though I'm not running live events right now, what I'm getting more success students now than I've ever had. I run a weekly show called Winners on a Wednesday where I interview someone who's been helped by my teachings, and now they've become financially free. I've got people booked up for the next 3 months. For the last 2 years, I've had every week. Now I'm booked up for the next 3 months. So it's just incredible. And actually, I'm still finding it incredibly rewarding, albeit virtual programs, online training, but it's still incredibly rewarding. And I'm, really glad that I did do that.
Yeah, one of the things I hear a lot from people that they are abroad. They say, well, what you're teaching in UK, does it work in France? Does it work in Belgium? Does it work in Yes, it does. The principles are the same. It's just you need to adapt to the actual, the local law, let's say. You've done the Financial Freedom Challenge. You've done it in the USA as well. So you've done it abroad, let's say, from the UK. So how did you feel by doing this?
I did feel nervous. I mean, the very first time I did a Financial Freedom Challenge, I was nervous, which was, for anyone who doesn't know, where I say I'm starting again from scratch. And I did it initially. I didn't plan on doing it again and again. Like initially, I was so tired of people saying, you got lucky. I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my family. I'm going to close my bank account, lock myself out. I'm going to get dropped into a random city in the UK, and I'm going to build up everything again from scratch. And when I did that challenge, and as you know, those that watch the story know that within 7 days, I became financially free, and I was on all over the news, on the BBC. It went crazy, and I was like, wow. And people started saying it. Oh, but can it work in my city? Can you come and live with me? So I started moving in with people and helping them do the same. I'm going to different parts of the country, and then people will start saying, oh, it's okay in England, but this doesn't work in my country. So I went to an airport. That's the thing, as you know, I'm a little bit crazy. So I went to an airport and I just went, hey, what's happening? I'm at an airport right now. I want you to comment below where you want me to go, and I will go there right now on the spot. And I ended up in New York. And to be honest, it didn't work in New York. I was a bit, very, very, very small fish in a very big pond. I got chewed up and spat out of New York within 48 hours. And the reason was I was trying to do rent to serviced accommodation, but it's banned from New York. You just can't do it. And everything was so different and difficult, and no one wanted to speak to me. So I ended up thinking, okay, well, how can I adapt? So I ended up just driving an hour outside of New York, and I ended up in a place called Philadelphia. And I managed to secure a lease option agreement in Philadelphia, and all within 7 days, which was just absolutely incredible. So it inspired a lot of people, and I've ended up doing that many more times. I just got back from a financial freedom challenge in Ireland, and I'm going to be uploading that tonight on YouTube. Okay. And that's kind of what I do. I make money, and then I do crazy challenges and share and teach. And the reason I do it is because most rich people hide away. Most people that make money, it's very unpopular to be rich in Britain. In Britain, if you watch a movie, the bad guy is always rich. You know, even like the Titanic. Yeah. Jack, he's loved and everyone loves him. He's poor. Yeah. And then the bad guy, the horrible one that you want to die, is really rich. He's really rich, right? But the media and society doesn't like rich people. So if you're rich and tell everybody, hey, I'm rich, oh my goodness, you're going to be hated. So me, I'm wealthy, but because most people know, oh, well, if I tell everybody, everyone will hate me, or they'll want something from me, and they'll try and steal from me or whatever. They just keep it quiet, right? I made a decision before I was rich that if I get rich, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to tell everybody not to brag, but to inspire and to educate. And that's what I'm doing. And as a result, sure, man, there's some people that get upset with me. Some of the poor people think I'm bragging. Some of the super rich people don't like the fact that I'm teaching everything. But then there's many, many thousands of people in between who are being inspired, educated, and are doing the exact same thing as I'm doing. And that's why I keep going.
That's wonderful. You've touched so many points I would like to expand a little bit. The first one is, for every hater you have, how many followers you have, or many lovers? You have a lot. So that's the risk of, when I speak to people as well, they think, oh, why are you publishing? Why are you publishing these things? You know, why are you telling the world what you're doing this one? This is very dangerous. And I say, no, wait a minute, I'm not doing it to brag. I'm doing it to inspire. It's exactly as you said. If I can help somebody else, why not? And if you put the two things on the balance, you can see that yes, you have haters. Yes, you have people like say they don't like, and yes, you have friends. They are drifting apart from you when you start posting more and more of these things, but you attract a lot more people in your life. They're more interested in the circle that you are right now. Another thing is, you touched a lot about mindset, which is mindset about money. You know, the rich guy is the you know, the bad guy. So do you think, apart from society, but also school, you know, they instill in your mind since you are a child that money is a bad thing? Do you think that is the case?
100%. I mean, I remember one of my school teachers sharing a story in assembly, and he was saying, oh, there was this charity that was happening, and there was these needy people, and this guy came in who was the speaker who came to, you know, share and help, and he came in and he was driving a Fiesta, like a Ford Fiesta. And then he came the following year and he wasn't quite himself. You know, the guy was a little bit distant, and he was driving a brand new Porsche. And then the following year, he never showed up. And I remember that story. I was thinking, oh, okay, well, the moral of the story is basically don't be rich because you'll lose yourself and you'll stop caring about the poor. You know, such a stupid story. I mean, I don't know if it was a true story or not, but you know, growing up, I mean, especially for me, because I'm Christian and I grew up going to a Christian school. And the whole mindset around money being evil or being the root of evil. And if you make a lot of money and if you have a lot of houses, somehow you're taking away from other people. That mentality is poison and it's false. And, you know, and it's what even I've got a charity, Samuel Leeds Foundation. I go out and do a lot of stuff in rural parts of Africa. My wife is born and bred in Zimbabwe. And even that mentality is the same mentality that keeps people in rural villages with nothing. It's this kind of poverty mentality that, oh, well, the rich people are taken away. And one of the things that we do in Africa is in Uganda and Zambia is we actually teach people how to make money, because I really believe from the bottom of my heart that making money, when you make money, when someone gives you money, they're actually giving you a certificate of thanks. They're saying, thank you for the service you provided. And I believe that business and entrepreneurship actually is the key to break poverty, not this idea that making money is bad and all this nonsense. And believe me, I grappled with this, I struggled with this. I spent 3 years at Birmingham Bible Institute doing a dissertation in biblical economics as a Christian, studying the ethics behind being an entrepreneur. And I came to the conclusion that money is not good or bad. Money is a tool and it can be used for either. And if you make a lot of money, you can help a lot of people or you can hurt a lot of people. Yeah. And ultimately, it's about being generous. It's about holding everything with open hands and also remembering that money won't change you, but it will expose you. So if you're a jerk, if you're a bad guy and you become rich, you're going to be a bigger bad guy. But if you'd have given Jack in the Titanic, if you'd have given him £1 million, he would have done some really good stuff with it. Because being wealthy just magnifies who you already are.
100%, 100%. You mentioned a lot of Jim Rohn. One of the things that Jim Rohn said was, you are the average of the 5 people that you surround, you spend most time with. Who are the 5 people that surround you, Samuel?
My wife, who's amazing. She's very, very incredible. My brother, Russell, again, my business partner, incredible. My brother-in-law, Ben, who's, again, he's very, very successful. He's a partner with me in my property company. My probably, and then probably a couple of my students that have become good friends. You look through my call history, you'll just see that I'm calling the same people over and over, speaking with the same people. And those people are definitely what make me who I am. If I lost my team, if I lost my friends and my team, and yeah. I mean, I think to be very successful in business or in real estate, you need to be really good at putting good people around you. And I think that's one of the things that I am good at. And thank God, because I'm useless at a lot of things. So it's good that I've got people around me that can make things happen.